This evening, first, a long vacant constitutional post is finally filled. After months of uncertainty, Azruddin Mohamed is elected leader of the opposition, unopposed, controversial, and already drawing sharp reactions locally and internationally. Plus, a life lost on the road. Chemist and community leader Jason Bhojedat dies in a devastating crash caught on camera, renewing urgent calls for road safety as tributes pour in. Also, a new vision for Tiger Bay. The president turns to residents to help transform the community into Guyana's first model neighbourhood, with policing, jobs, youth training, and women-led agriculture at the center. Meanwhile, Berbice's sporting future takes shape. A major multipurpose stadium nears completion, promising new opportunities for athletes, communities, and the regional economy. And overseas, rescue teams race against time in Indonesia after deadly floods and landslides leave dozens fear-trapped. These stories and more coming up. Stay with us. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for January 26, 2026. I'm Berbice. Thank you for joining us. First up, almost 4 months after Guyana's general and regional elections, the National Assembly has appointed a leader of the opposition, ending weeks of political uncertainty and international calls for the post to be filled. Azruddin Mohamed, leader of the We Invest in Nationhood party, was elected unopposed during a meeting of non-government members of parliament earlier this morning. Mohamed was the only opposition parliamentarian nominated for the position.
So I want to thank you from all my heart for the support. I want to thank the public servants. I want to thank the diaspora. I want to thank Almighty God. I want to thank my mother and father. There's my sister.
Somewhere in the back shouting.
Thank you for everything. I want to thank the people of this country.
With a single nomination on the table, members of parliament from a Partnership for National Unity, which holds 12 seats, exited the meeting, maintaining that no vote was required once only one nominee was submitted.
There was one nomination for the position of leader of the opposition. Nominations were closed, and as we had said, there is no need for a vote, so we have left the assembly.
The remaining opposition member of parliament, 16 from the We Invest in Nationhood party and 1 from the Forward Guyana movement, proceeded with the process and voted in favor of Mohamed. FGM is represented in parliament by its leader, Amanza Walton Desir.
Nominations were open. Mr. Azruddin Mohamed was nominated. The nominations were closed. Apu walked out before the vote, but the 17 remaining MPs voted affirmatively.
The Win Party, launched just months before the 2025 elections, emerged as the largest opposition bloc with 16 seats in the National Assembly. Mohamed's election, however, has sparked a controversy. He and his father, Nazar Mohamed, have been indicted by a grand jury in the United States District Court for the Southern District of Florida on 11 criminal charges, including wire fraud, mail fraud, and money laundering linked to gold exports by Mohamed's enterprise. Ahead of the vote, Speaker of the National Assembly, Manzoor Nadir, and Attorney General Anil Nandlal both expressed concerns about Mohamed assuming the role, warning it could have serious implications for Guyana's parliamentary standing. Despite the controversy, Mohamed's appointment now formally fills the opposition leader post, a key constitutional office that has been vacant since the elections. On a different note, a fatal road accident on Sunday night has claimed the life of 33-year-old chemist Jason Bhojedat, a well-known respected community leader and former president of the St. Stanislaus College Association. Reports indicate that Bhojedat was driving a small bus along the farm public road when a speeding car collided with the rear of the bus, causing it to flip multiple times before crashing into a utility post. Bhojedat was extracted from the wreck and rushed to the hospital, where he was pronounced dead on arrival. The driver of the other vehicle sustained minor injuries. The incident was captured on nearby security cameras and is under investigation by the police. Bhojedat, who also served as a distillery plant manager at Demerara Distillers Limited, was remembered by the St. Stanislaus College Association as a kind, loving, driven, and exceptionally reliable individual whose dedication and mentorship left a lasting impact on all who knew him. Friends and family have taken to social media to pay tribute, describing him as a career-driven, intelligent, and deeply committed to service. This tragic incident underscores the critical importance of road safety for all users. Drivers are urged to exercise caution, adhere to speed limits, and remain vigilant on the roads to prevent such devastating accidents. Road safety is a shared responsibility, and every precaution taken can save lives. Moving on, President Dr. Mohamed Irfan has called on residents of Tiger Bay, Georgetown, to take the lead in building a safer, more secure community as the government intensifies efforts to improve public safety and social development in the area. Speaking at the commissioning of a new futsal and basketball court on Friday, President Ali said community involvement will be central to redefining Tiger Bay. He announced that Minister of Home Affairs, Onit Walron, will work closely with residents in the coming weeks to establish a community policing group aimed at improving security through local participation. The president explained that the initiative will extend beyond crime prevention to encompass mentorship, early intervention, and information sharing. The move forms part of a broader plan to transform Tiger Bay into Ghana's first model neighborhood. As part of the pilot program, areas from Ghana Stores to the Seawall and from High Street to Carmichael Street will undergo major upgrades, including development of industrial, cultural, and heritage walkways. President Ali said residents must prepare for these changes by helping to make the community safer, more attractive, and economically vibrant. Plans also include establishing centers offering Board of Industrial Training BIT programs to young people, as well as an agricultural initiative targeting women. Under the program, 50 shade houses will be constructed and managed by single women in that community. The development falls under the President's wider Rescue Georgetown initiative, which aims to restore the capital's status as the Garden City while promoting sustainable urban development in line with the Low Carbon Development Strategy of 2030. Stick around when we return. Berbice set for sports boost as Palmyra Multipurpose Stadium nears completion. And over 1,300 inmates receive skill training as Ghana shifts towards a prison rehabilitation.
Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Common Smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services. 316 Middle Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for do a surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Welcome back. Berbice is on the cusp of a major boost in sports and community development as construction of the Palmyra Multipurpose Stadium in Region 6 nears completion. During a visit to the facility on Saturday, Minister within the Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sports, Stephen Jacobs, said the project forms part of the government's wider strategy to build a sustainable sports ecosystem that nurtures talent, strengthens community, and creates economic opportunities. He noted that the Palmyra facility will complement other major investments, including the Albion Cricket Academy, the New Amsterdam synthetic track, and boxing gyms across the country. Minister Jacobs described the stadium as a long-awaited development for Berbice, noting that such infrastructure was unimaginable just a few years ago. He also reaffirmed the government's commitment to supporting former athletes through career pathway programs, allowing them to return to their communities as coaches and mentors. Member of Parliament Zamal Hussein welcomed the project, highlighting Berbice's long-standing contribution to national sports. He said the multipurpose facility is expected to enhance athletic performance while stimulating economic activity through increased demand and accommodation, transportation, logistics, and opportunities in the creative and entertainment sector. Once completed, the Palmaro Multipurpose Stadium is expected to position Berbice as a hub for sports, culture, and economic activities. In other news, more than 1,300 inmates across Ghana's prison system have benefited from rehabilitation and skills training programs aimed at reducing reoffending and supporting reintegration into society. According to the Ghana Prison Service, 1,302 inmates participated in the initiative, implemented across 5 prison locations nationwide. The program focuses on technical and vocational training, academic education, and behavioral modification to better prepare offenders for life after incarceration. The Sentence Planning Unit conducted individual assessments for each inmate to ensure training was tailored to their needs, aptitude, and readiness for rehabilitation. Prisoners' Welfare and Corrections Officer Tessa McGarrell said the approach centers on meeting inmates at their level and equipping them with practical, marketable skills. She noted that partnerships with government agencies, non-governmental organizations, and the private sector strengthened the program throughout 2025. Director of Prisons Nicolon Elliott said the initiative forms part of a broader national strategy to reform the prison system. He explained that the Ghana Prison Service is shifting away from a strict punitive model towards a correctional approach that emphasizes rehabilitation, skill development, and collaboration with stakeholders. Officials say the program is designed not only to improve the lives of inmates, but also to contribute to a more skilled workforce as Ghana's economy continues to expand. Don't go away after the break. Hunters in Minneapolis break bitter cold to protest ICE killing of Alex Pretty. And Mexico slaps 50% tariffs on China. Trade protection or U.S. pressure.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lenders, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Our smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Middle Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world.
Good evening, I'm Dominic Kittins. Tonight, Haiti's Transitional Council moves to oust its Prime Minister, deepening a standoff with the US. In Mexico, heavy tariffs on China stir debate. Protest flares in Minneapolis after the fatal federal shooting of Alex Pretty. And rescue crews work after deadly landslides in Indonesia. We begin in Haiti. Members of Haiti's Transitional Presidential Council have moved to remove Prime Minister Alex Didier Fils-Aimé, defying U.S. warnings against altering the current government. 5 council members reportedly backed his removal, though the decision is not yet legally published. The United States Embassy in Haiti and Secretary of State Marco Rubio cautioned that the move could destabilize Haiti as gang violence surges and elections remain delayed. Mexico has imposed tariffs of up to 50% on Chinese products, a move welcomed by domestic manufacturers. While the Mexican government says the measure aimed to protect 350,000 jobs and strengthen the national economy, analysts suggest the decision reflects pressure from the United States, which fears Mexico serves as a backdoor for Chinese goods into the North American Free Trade Zone. Al Jazeera's John Holman reports.
Mexico's tariffs of up to 50% on Chinese products are good news for this shoe factory in León. They say they've long been undercut by Chinese competition.
This problem affects all types of companies, small, medium, family-run, artisanal, so I think we'll all benefit.
But is that the real reason that Mexico slapped tariffs on the Asian superpower? Analysts say it has more to do with pressure from next door, the United States, by far Mexico's biggest trading partner. President Trump's long worried that the country is a backdoor for Chinese goods to get into the North American Free Trade Zone, which Mexico shares with the US and Canada. The country's been under pressure to do something about it, although President Sheinbaum denied its appeasement.
We have great respect for China and very good relations with them. The reason for these adjustments to the law has to do with strengthening the national economy.
Her government says the tariffs will help Mexican industry develop and save 350,000 jobs. China isn't happy, saying the tariffs will hurt everyone. It's not the only country affected. Others without trade agreements with Mexico, like India and South Korea, will also be hit. The result? Likely rising costs for consumers on popular Chinese goods like electric cars. But with free trade talks with the US and Canada looming next year, Mexico may see that as worth the trade-off. John Holman, Al Jazeera, Mexico City.
The US city of Minneapolis is on edge after a second fatal shooting involving federal immigration officers this month, as state leaders challenge the federal response and activists call for accountability. Questions are growing about transparency and oversight. Al Jazeera's Manuel Rapallo reports.
Minneapolis residents gathering at a makeshift shrine for Alex Pretty, the second U.S. citizen killed by federal officers in Minnesota in less than a month. At a shop across from where the fatal shooting took place, business owner Allison Bross says the continued presence of thousands of federal officers has the entire community on edge.
This occupation and living in this kind of constant state of fear and hyper alertness isn't sustainable. It's so stressful on everyone's bodies.
They're doing too much, man, and they keep pushing people, you know?
Videos showing the events leading up to the shooting have once again divided public opinion. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security quickly defended the agent's actions as self-defense, accusing 37-year-old Alex Pretty of domestic terrorism.
When someone chooses to listen to a politician, a so-called journalist, a community leader that spouted that type of vilification towards law enforcement or anything else, when you choose to listen to that, that is a choice, and there are consequences and actions there also. I think we saw that yesterday.
Minnesota state officials say the videos tell a different story, accusing the Trump administration of lying in the face of clear evidence.
And you know what you saw. And then you heard the most powerful people in the world, certainly in this country, President, Vice President, Greg Bovino, Kristi Noem, narrate to you what you were looking at, that this was a domestic terrorist, crazed, running at law enforcement with the intent to kill massive numbers of them.
Man, we appreciate y'all coming, man.
The shooting triggered a lawsuit by state and local officials, with the head of Minnesota's Bureau of Criminal Apprehension saying that federal agents had blocked their efforts to begin an investigation. We're standing just a few steps away from where that fatal shooting of Alex Pretty took place on Saturday. Despite the frigid temperatures, we're seeing a steady stream of visitors coming here to this area to pay their respects. It's very quiet here now, but there is a tension in the air. There's a lot of anger from residents of this community. There's also a lot of fear. You feel it in the atmosphere here. Concern over the possibility of more violence in the future in this community. As tensions escalate between federal and state officials, activists are pledging more protests, demanding independent investigations into 2 fatal shootings this month, and vowing to stay in the streets until federal agents leave Minnesota. Manuel Rapallo, Al Jazeera, Minneapolis.
Rescue and recovery efforts are underway in Indonesia after a landslide killed at least 10 people, with several others missing. Authorities say rivers burst their banks after days of torrential rain. Al Jazeera Fitan Monahan reports.
Another body pulled from the dirt. The landslide struck without warning, engulfing several villages in Indonesia's West Java province. Dozens are missing. The military, police and civilian volunteers have joined the search for survivors. But progress is slow. This is difficult terrain and the ground is still unstable.
This is the first time that a landslide happened that was this big. Before we got small floods from the nearest river, but this time a landslide came from the other side, from the forest.
People have been moved to safety. Many are still shaken by what happened and unsure when they will be able to go home or whether there will be much left to go back to.
I still can't believe it. You usually see disasters like this on TV, and now it's happening in our own village. We're still traumatized. There's still fear. The rain hasn't stopped, and we're worried there could be another landslide.
The landslide happened after rivers burst their banks after days of rain. Environmentalists say deforestation has increased the risk of disasters. Fewer trees means fewer routes to soak up water. The people of this village remain focused on the fate of their loved ones. And despite the challenges, the search for survivors continues. Fintan Monahan, Al Jazeera.
Thanks, Dominique. This brings us to the end of our regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3-day weather forecast. And that's SafeTV2 Headline News for this Monday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can tune in tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. for a rebroadcast and at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourselves and each other.